Hi everybody, here we go again. Look, we're going to do a real nice study in watercolor, and I want to use a wonderful poet who has a beautiful face and a beautiful demeanor. His name is Gautier. It's Théophile Gautier. He's a French poet. What we care about now is to do a beautiful, beautiful painting. And the reason I use this man is because his demeanor, the person he is, has so much flavor, and is going to be it's going to help us to make a wonderful painting. Keep that in mind. You're only as good as your subject that you choose. Now you can see this man has really lived. He's had a full and exciting life. And I will try to use this spirit when I do the painting, and I will explain to you what I'm going to try to do and what the steps are that are necessary. I want to show you the corpulence. That's why I like this particular piece, this particular photo. Let me pull up another shot of him. Here you can see the wonderful mass that's here. This is what I'm going to capitalize on. It's going to be much more than just a portrait. It's going to be a composition. This is what I am looking forward to. Okay, let's get going. This is the nitty-gritty. This is where we really have to pay attention. Now I'm going to run you right along this demo. I'm going to explain just about everything that I think is necessary. I'm going to talk about materials, and I want to explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. So let's just pay attention and let's enjoy. I watered my color down, all of my pigments, with a spray. This spray, you just want to do that. You want to do it 10 minutes or so, or even more, a half hour or 15 minutes. It depends. As much time as you have, you want to get the initial paint wet, and then always come back over with your the paint right out of the tube. You want to have a nice, fresh, nice, gooey paint mass. You see, we've got to have that. You want to be able to get really aggressive color when you need it. Okay, so all of these colors have been laid out, almost everything except for some of the exotic colors where you only need a touch. So let's just keep that in mind. Always be ready to go to the next step with your work. Now I want you to notice this is a whole blind palette. It's made out of metal. It has a ceramic finish to it, and it's really wonderful for cleaning. With a little bit of rubbing alcohol, you can clean this and come down to a perfect surface. I'm going to be using Winsor Newton brushes, a 12 and an 8. You can go, all of this information is on my website. Everything is on my website. I'm going to show you here how I set up my colors. All right, this is a nice comprehensive color. You have everything you need. If you want some additional colors, a turquoise, Antwerp blue is good. And the violets over here, the blue to the red violets are always good, okay? I throw a Van Dyke brown because I just enjoy that color. And this will give you an idea. And again, all of this is on the website. Okay, I'm going to do my drawing now. And I'm going to be using a Blackwing 602. It is absolutely one of the, well, I would say the best pencil made in the world today. It is incredibly dense. It's just, you get a beautiful line. The paper just absorbs the line. It's fantastic. So please think about buying the right kind of pencil when you're doing this, because the pencil will dictate so much in watercolor. We always try to draw with a pencil, and we leave the pencil through the whole exercise. All right, now I'm going to do, this is more than a portrait. This will be a 3/4. I'm going to lay it in. I don't have to fill the paper so much as I would It can be cropped up, but I'm going to just start to do a quick lay-in. I'm going to find the middle form here. So let's just go right about in the middle. We should just about do it. That should just about do it. I'm going to lay in a form. You may not be able to see it through the camera here, but this is just a very light touch. I want to get the general form of the head, the overall head. And then I talked earlier about the corpulence of the body that I really like and I want to use. Because quite often, in something like this, the body will give you a portrait effect. You'll learn a lot about who the person is just by his attitude in the body form. Now I'm going to just take a read. This will be 1 and 2, 1 and 2. That's pretty close. All right, so now I'm going to come in closer to my I'm going to come in closer now to my portraiture. And whenever we do a portrait like this, you always keep in mind that the more detail you're working with, the more you work on that detail, the smaller the object becomes. So you're going to lay it in a nice big form, keeping that in mind, always keeping that in mind. And here we go. Now I'm going to get my scale from this eye right here. This eye will be where I find my info. Gautier was like I said in the beginning, he's a poet. He had heart trouble from a young age, and he had a hard life. He lived very, very hard. He had a very active life, and he died of heart failure eventually. So we'll see some of this in our when we do our portrait here. Now I'm going to come back in and control one eye over. I want my darks to be here. Now I'm thinking constantly about what color I want, how I want the color to work. I'd like to get a nice half tone. And here we go. When we do the mustache, we do that later. We put the lips, the chin. We do all of this, and then we put the mustache on later. I love this straight. I'm going to capitalize on this. Beautiful straight form. And what's really pretty, I find this quite attractive. He has a beautiful hair form that goes through, down, over, and out. So this is like a Benjamin Franklin a little bit. Now I'll just continue with the drawing. Again, I just want to make sure I get everything I need. I've got the volume. I'm going to just get a nice little form in here. I'm going to open that up a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is to do a lot of drawing, only because when I do my painting, Um, I don't want to have to correct. I would like to have an idea exactly what is going to happen, and how it'll transpire. Now this movement right here, this section here, is really important for your painting, because it is a change of pace. It's a change of pace. You want change of pace in your painting, no matter what you're doing. When you're doing a portrait, it's the ear is a change of pace. Obviously, the portrait of the eyeball, the eye socket, is a change of pace for the overall mass. And we keep that in mind whenever we are creating a piece. It's so important that we're one with our object that we're painting. I'm going to bring this over here. I love that form. Nice change of pace, nice movement and space. I'm laboring this a little bit, only because I want you to be so in tune to what can be done and what cannot be done. Let's do this. I want to find the reason I'm going to take my time here is because the volume that I find here is going to be either attractive or not attractive. And you're going to see this line. You see the movement in the line. It has a reason. It undulates in one way and then the other. I want to be one with that. I love this form here. And again, this is the vertical we look for, if we can, in our painting. Nice vertical moving through space. This is a vertical we talked about earlier. I brought that over. Vertical, vertical. All right. I'm going to get a nice change of pace here. I'm going to open that up because I'm in the mood. And change of pace. See, all these forms there's a reason for these. There's a reason for your forms. You're not going to repeat. You're looking constantly for the change of size. The movement in space. One line always indicates the beauty. You see the beauty between one line and the other line. We're going to find the beauty between these two lines also. I think I'm going to negotiate a shoulder form, and voila. Let's come down here. Now what'll happen that these forms we'll probably lose most of them. We won't even deal with them, but I want to be one with my drawing. I just want to make sure the drawing has validity, it has power, it makes sense. And once that's the case, you need very little info here. I want to get a bigger form here. I'm in the mood. You notice I say I'm in the mood. I say that quite often. When you're painting, the painting you're drawing, what you're doing will dictate what your possibilities are. Or aren't. I am too low here, so I'm just going to come over. Hey, incidentally, folks, it's perfectly all right to erase. I can't believe that some people find that a problem. I'm going to pull this over, and I'm going to pull this down. And I'm going to readjust some of these things just for the heck of it. I made that a little too long. I'm going to leave that for the time being, and we will come over here and I will adjust this also. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. And and let's find our reed here. This is the vertical. It's all part of the vertical. Let me see now. Let me get some distance. What do I like here? What do I like less? I just may open this up here a little bit. I'm in the mood to turn this in a rounder form. Just in the mood. Yes. Simpler, rounder form. And I'm going to pull this over even more. And let's do this. I like that. I'm going to diminish this area. And there we go. There we go. That's what I want. I'm going to diminish this. I'm going to diminish this. I think I'll pull that over. Just want a little smaller over there. All right. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. And let's go. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to start my painting. And let's get going. So I'm going to mix my color right here on the palette. I'm going to get enough. This is going to be my shadow. Shadow, always getting more than you think you need. There we go. Now, if that needs to be, I think I'm going to keep it in a warmer feel. Now, let's see what we got here. Okay. All right, when I start a painting, I do this. Okay. Now, and I'm going to work the color. Slowly work the color, slowly. I'm going to make sure we have enough color in the mass. keep our whites prevalent all the way through. This is kind of a first go right here. Now I'm establishing color, I'm establishing form, intensity, and you see how slow I'm going. All right, we're just going one thing at a time. We're not taking on the whole portrait. And we're leaving just a little bit of area here. I'm going to put my lip color in right now because I think that's the color I want. I may go a little because we're watercolorists, we can go for color. And I told you earlier, when you paint when you paint the watercolor, you leave as much white as you can, and you try to punch up your color as much as you can allow yourself. And that's how I teach this. Okay, now I'm going to do the shadow side. I'm going to mix my color again. Da-da-da-da. This is my base color. Try to keep this as simple as possible. We will be adding color as we go. And let's get going. The darkest dark is up in here. I'm going to feather my edges. We're going to take the color right into the mass. I'm going to come back in with my color now. I'm going to operate. I'm going to throw some of my reds. I'm going to go as dark as I can go now into my, well, it's wet. Now there's two colors in there. What I like to do is to find another color mass. And I think I will, I'm going to throw a warm, just a warm hue right over here. And you see how this is going to shake up the painting? Now I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to work now on my hair form, and that's going to be a secondary color. Now this is how I like to start the hair with a burnt sienna, and while it's wet, you see, we're going to do this wet, nice wet form, nice wet form. Hair is soft. You want to feel the softness of the hair. There we go. I'm going to wet the surface. Now I was very careful when I put the paint on that I leave it nice and wet, because you will see what I'm going to do now. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to add the complementary color. And let's go just a little deeper in some of these areas, and I will will just do this, and I will do this, and I will do this. This is my darkest dark. And we will take just a little bit of blue and then we'll pull this up. I'm going to throw a little bit of red in there just to spark the color. Don't even care what his color really is. Isn't important to me so much as we have a nice color base going through here. Voila. I'll get rid of that a little bit. And here we go. Let's open up this guy. There we go. Now I'm going to construct the beard a little more. And we will come in later and we will give some form to the beard and the hair. I'm going to do a little bit right now. I have a darker passage here. And I'm going to pull this. And let's see, I want to pull this in here. This is another form. This is going down into nice dark. And we will use our just a nice soft passage. Okay, I'm going to do one more little thing. I want color above all. Now, what I'd like to do, and what I shall do, is just this. I will incorporate our flesh tones right in here. Voila. There's our flesh tones. We're cool. And it was a little more difficult to do a portrait than to do just a model in the class or something like that, because you do have things you have to take into consideration. I am going to work on my background right now. Right before that dries, I want to get some color in my background. I'm going to do this, and I want this to go into the hair. And let's see, let's get a color mask going. And color, 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 color. It's a gray mouse here. Let's get this and we'll bring it into our painting. Okay, we'll turn the corner. Now what I want to do is to activate the background. We're going to do a nice soft form. This is watercolor. You take your form, let it be, just let it go into space. And because he's a poet and he had an active life, we're going to throw some nice color into our painting. So now my painting has been it's been keyed. I've got a key. Now I think what I'll do is I'll go over here, try to find a halftone that I can live with, and I think I will just start to paint in this halftone quality here. Keep it loose, very loose. Just a touch of green in here. A little more water. And let's do this. Just find our form. Let's find our form. That's all I want to say there. And I'm going to come over here now, and I want to pick up my form here. In watercolor, we're always using color, 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 color. I'm just going to let some of this go. I want to keep this over here. All right. Here we go. That's a good start. That is a good start. All right, I'm going to continue here. I'm going to get my flesh tone going. This is it. I don't want any more down there. I would like to drop in a halftone right here. And let's do a little thing while it's wet here. I don't like my Lism Crimson, my burnt sienna. I'm not happy with it. I like to mix the color on the paper rather than on the palette sometimes, just to give a nice, just so it marries in the space there. Okay, let's let this be now, just for the time being. There's some things I want to do. Okay, let's go again. We'll start over now. I mean, I'm going to come in. It's just dried just a little bit. It's pulled. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to accentuate some of my color that has faded. And I'm going to go in with my Cad Red, touch of burnt sienna, a touch of green. It goes into the flesh a little better. You can break it with a green. It's always a good idea. Here we go. And that's my color about. And this is what I want to do. I'm going to get a little more aggressivity here in my color mass. And I'm going to bring that form up a little bit. This form over here. Now that's going to dry. A little more red right here. Voila. Get my red going. And I want a nice form in here. And this is the form that came over here. Let's pull this up. I will be coming in here with my darks. I'm going to feather this area, feather that area, voila. Hit my reds over here. And there we go. Get down in here. What I want to do is get the complementary going also. So let's do that right now. There we go. That's what makes it attractive. Just a nice color mass change. There we go. And we will okay, that's that side. I am going to work the other eye now. Again, this is portraiture, so it's a little more fastidious. It just takes time. feather that edge, feather the edge, feather the edge. Now what I want to do is to add my color here. Very, very, very light. I'm going to turn the form. I'm going to keep it white as much as I can. You want that white to read. You want that white to read. You want the white to read. There we go. And I'm going to let that dry. I want to get a pinkish glow up in the top here. I think I'll put a pinkish glow right up here. Voila. Over there. And now to activate that, we will go with a yellow. And that is the secret to these watercolor paintings. You see how that yellow activates color? That's what it's all about. Let's go down here. I'm going to just take a color and see what I can do with it. I'm just in the mood, okay? This is the Antwerp blue. Just like that color. And in watercolor, we very seldom just do one color. So I'm going to throw in a ultramarine blue right in here just to activate some of the form. And we're going to just continue. See, I did this before I started painting, so I didn't have to negotiate a lot of stuff. Voila. And let's go over here. And let's go over here. Again, always try to get two colors going. Just do it. If you do, any time you come in, just go in and now I'm going to go with a complementary because I'm having fun, right? I'm going to have fun. So I'm just going to go with the... I wanted to keep a lot of color going in here because he's a poet. And it's a good excuse just to use color. I have no idea what this ensemble, what it entailed. I have no idea. So who cares, right? All right. So. I'm going to break that up a little bit. I'm going to go with a halftone and break some of that form up. My halftone will be this will just be like this, and we'll have one over here and take it around the corner. just throw something in here. Let's just go here. Okay. I'm going to put an edge on the form. I'm going to put an edge on this form. I'm going to mix several colors to get a gray, to gray it out a little bit. And that's it. Okay, that's enough of that. Now let's go in and finish the portrait aspect. I'm going to just put out the beard. We're going to mix the beard the same color as usual. Ultramarine blue, burnt sienna. Just going to do just a very few touches here. This is more like his portrait that we see. And this comes down like that. And over here. And okay, that's enough of that. I'm going to diminish this reed. Now, there we go. That's what I want. Well, let's finish the eye. A little bit of red right in here, and we'll come down here, and we'll come over here. Okay, we're almost there, folks. Almost there. Okay, we're going to let that be now, and I will come back later and see if everything's okay. All right, thank you, thank you. Okay, here we are. This is the final project. I came in a little bit and adjusted some of my light, my dark, my richer colors, and there you have it. Let's put these two together. And I hope that's working. I'm going to